The words of that song just said, it's because we don't know our time. That is why we are troubled. But you don't have to go before your time. And that's what this next conversation is about. Because the FRSC Corps Marshal Mohammed Shehu said recently, particularly concerning the FRSC bearing arms, you would have expected I want to talk about road safety at this time, ember months, December in particular, but no, that one is a constant. We need you to be alive. Don't go before your time. The other thing that can take you before your time is a gun fired at you. Yes or yes? So
yes and yes.
Should the FRSC bear arms? The FRSC Corps Marshal says a delicate matter, because according to him, in the act that set up the FRSC, there is a provision and emphasis to have and to hold arms. We're not asking for arms to do enforcement. We're asking for just a squad like other paramilitary agencies, Customs, Immigration, NSCDC. And the idea is to protect our infrastructure and facilities. Does that mean that it won't be on the roads? Let's have a conversation this morning with two ladies and gentlemen who both have been in this safety business for quite a while. Bolanle Edwards is here. She's founder of Strap and Safe Child Foundation. Thank you for joining us
Thank
this morning.
You for having me.
And we also have Patrick Adenusi, who is the Director, Safety Beyond Borders. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Aya. Good morning.
Please, when we start our drama, just don't mind us. We have a history. Madam, should the FRSC bear arms?
Yes and yes.
And yes.
Yes and yes.
Okay. Same question to you, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Okay. Why? What do they need it for?
Well, not the entire FRSC as it were, but I think just like you introduced earlier in that a special squad should be set up within that entity that should carry hands.
What for?
Protection of the lives, properties, and of course, much other things. You see that FRSC most of the time are quite vulnerable on the highway. We've had cases of FRSC guys being knocked down, killed. Statistics between 2016 and now says that about 431 of them have been killed on the highway, and about 631 have been injured. So for me, I think the statistics is quite staggering. And it's not good. One death is bad enough, and it will continue like that if they're not properly equipped and armed. And people see them as people who do not carry arms anyway, so they are vulnerable and they can attack them at any point in time. I remember so very well the NSAS that happened some few years back, and how they went into all the sectors and damaged their equipment, their vehicles, and there was fire in the buildings. They had to run for their dear lives as well because they knew that they don't carry arms. So they would do anything. I think at best they have the OPC guys who guard them once in a while. So I think, again, that they should carry arms. A special squad amongst them should carry arms.
But Mr. Adenusi, there's been that time. I mean, according to the Corps Marshal, you already have a provision that says they could. That's what he has said. So why haven't they been bearing arms?
Yeah, well, I am aware that some of their personnel have been trained, and because we're also in a democracy, the fact that it's in the act, it still needs to be discussed, bearing in mind that they are all out to serve the people. Just to follow up on what Bola just said also, beyond the fact that their facilities and their properties and their vulnerability is the fact that the terrain with which they operate is also very deadly. FRSC operations does not end in the city. most rescues, when there are incidents, especially interstate, vehicles run into the bush, some fall into ditches, and they have to go into those bush and those ditches to rescue the people. Privilegedly, I drive anywhere I go in Nigeria, and one of the times there was an accident between Ijebu-Ode and the border town in Ondo State, and the vehicles went into the ditch. So I was passing, so I saw them, so I stopped. So all of us were going into that ditch when we saw this very nice, robust, handsome snake. I dashed.
When did snakes become nice?
And they're robust and handsome.
So everybody took off, so we all ran back out. We stayed. After like 5, 6, 7 minutes, so someone said, yeah, the way we ran, that the snake also would have taken off. So I didn't continue.
No more first responding.
So I didn't follow them anymore. But you see, they go out at night to rescue. I'm aware that this Otedola Bridge, the days that we used to have incessant crashes, when they go there, hoodlums have attacked them severally because they wanted to loot the goods of some of those crashed vehicles.
Okay.
So yes, they need to protect their properties, but the life of every FRSC official is as important as you and I.
Isn't that throwing in the towel and saying, we admit the police is inefficient, the police cannot help us, we admit that every security agency must carry on because the primary agency that is supposed to ensure internal security is unable to do it. Isn't that what we are doing here?
Not really. When you go to the West, the police are armed, the border security, the coast guards, each of those agencies, they have sections that bear arms. Just like the Nigerian immigration have sections, they have a squad that bear arms. Nigeria Customs does. Nigeria Security Defense, NSCDC, they do. So even in the military, not all military personnel bear arms. The people in the medical department don't bear arms. The people, the engineering corps don't bear arms. But the artillery, they do. That's what they have. So have we gone off on the account that, the police are not working? No, not really. The police are doing as much they could do. What's the strength of the Nigerian police? Nigeria is actually under police in terms of numbers. So do we now take a special squad or take some of the police that are insufficient, just like we now have some boys and girls going around with escorts? If we pull armed people from the Nigerian police to now be the cover for FRSC, how many do we have left?
That also raises a question of collaboration. But let me ask you, madam, because he just mentioned the NSCDC, and that's one of the other issues that I was going to raise. Okay, so the NSCDC has been bearing arms over time. Some Nigerians somewhere is wondering, so to what effect? To what effect? So how will the FRSC bearing arms change the price of sliced bread?
You see, the need for them bearing arms cannot be overemphasized. Like we said, it's very important because of the kind of duties that they carry out. You will find them on call on the highway. At times, they would have to be the one to. At times that the critical position and spaces where even the police will not want to go. There are some places in the last 5, 6, 7 years now that they said that even you won't find police on that route, but the FRSC guys are there, and They are having to face the risk daily. Some of them face this hoodlum. Of course, they don't have anything and all of that. So really, you can't overemphasize the need for them to carry arms, because you still have those guys. It's not all of them, but a special squad can have that opportunity and, you know, privilege of doing, of securing their lives and property. And we're not saying that they should act insanely when they carry these arms. They also have to be trained. And we have the reports that they have actually been trained. We have trained FRSC officers already on ground.
I can hear one Nigerian now saying, well, even the police is trained now, we still know what we get.
Well, you can't stop training.
They have been trained and they're just waiting for this bill to go through.
Absolutely.
So how far has this bill gone, Mr. Denusi?
Well, I think the National Assembly, the Senate section are done with it. The House of Rep are the ones that are fine-tuning. They will also be having, I learned they will be having a public hearing sometimes next week in this regard.
Will you be there?
No.
Okay.
I won't be there. So the National Assembly are actually already at work, and I personally, I do believe that, just like Ayo asks, how does their bearing arm affect the cost of bread? Yes, it will. If a truck carrying flour crashes or breaks down somewhere, and they are the one who somehow are the one that gives the cover for that, those materials will not be lost. Because if I order any of these ingredients, for example, and it damages in between, I'm going to spread the cost on what I will be producing subsequently.
Absolutely.
So when you go to the US, for example, you see policemen at locations where you least expect. They just park their cars and they are just there.
Yeah.
So FRSC used to do that some years back. They can, between Lagos and Ibadan, they might park their vehicle like 3 different spots. As you are coming, as you sight the vehicle of a policeman in the US, you just take your leg. You take your leg from your accelerator. For that minute, you are born again. Even when you are on the regular speed, recommended speed, you just back down a little and you change lane and you go. The same thing used to happen here previously. So today we are talking about, oh, vehicles are excessively speeding. The FRSC officials want to stay between maybe Redeem Camp and Shagam. And sitting in their vehicles, FRSC officials have also been kidnapped. And somebody comes and just rake them in, and they take them hostage.
Absolutely.
So the loss of one FRSC is enough concern for me as a citizen of this country.
The question is not, okay, again, some Nigerian out there is saying, NSCDC has been bearing arms. I don't feel any different. If anything, once I see anyone carrying arms, this person has been empowered to kill me, or to intimidate me, or to harass me, or to overwhelm me. It's just a small segment of the police I will call SARS. Just a small segment that we call SARS. And every time we talk about NSARS, it is because of that. And NSARS, you would remember, took about 5 to 6 years before it came to a head in 2020. Now, if we're saying just this small selection, it's just looking at all the variables to ensure that things don't go awry. Certainly, it's bad enough that any Nigerian is found in harm's way, much less a security operative, because the FRSC is itself one of the security agencies in the country. So it's only this small segment in the police that bear arms, the way they bear arms, special anti-robbery squads, SARS, and we know how that has gone and how it has affected Nigerians. What's to say that this FRSC force FRSC or whatever you're going to call them, it's not going to go the way of SARS.
Okay, SARS intimidated people, there's no doubt about that, and we can't discount it. It did happen. And one of the things that led to it is the fact that I think it started with all these Yahoo boys and all the likes and so on. From just the look alone makes you interested. You want to know what he's doing, where he's going, what does he have, and all of that. And it is that crack. Most decently dressed people were rarely harassed. I'm not saying they were not harassed, were rarely harassed. I drive around in this country. Just some few days ago, I was driving somewhere. I just came out and I saw a police checkpoint, and I stopped and I said, look, where you are now is not safe. A vehicle is going to run either into you or the vehicle that has stopped. I've done that across this country, in bends, in hills, in some slope. I'll stop. I'll tell them, look, gentlemen, you are doing your job, but this is not a safe place to do this. This is me, I am a safety practitioner. So you're staying here, you are not only endangering yourself, you are endangering the motoring public. So in the same way, I do believe that arming a squad because of the need for it will not necessarily be a disadvantage for the citizens of the country. Now you said, oh, a Nigerian out there could be saying, what have we benefited from NSCDC bearing arm? They patrol and police our pipelines. You are sleeping in your house. Those guys are, how often do you hear now that pipelines are vandalized? Previously, it was like this. We're just hearing, oh, one pipeline has been vandalized at so and so point in Ijigbo, in this, in that. So NSCDC has taken that as a responsibility. We no longer record issues of pipeline vandalization as it used to be.
Well, we still record issues of crude oil theft, but to go on.
The crude oil theft. the crude oil theft happens in the air. So
that's for the big boys.
And that's beyond the scope of NSCDC and FRSC. So the NSCDC, I mean, they crack down on the guys that are vandalizing pipes. So we no longer hear that. Little disruption to our petroleum supply chain. Trucks that move petroleum products, they are out there monitoring to ensure that they are not being diverted. So the fact that we are not seeing them working does not necessarily mean they are not working.
Well, there's an issue that he raised, Ms. Edwards, and that is people who are decently dressed are rarely. I don't wear dreads, but you know that there is something they call profiling. Yeah. He looks like a Yahoo boy. So if they see and didn't know that Pastor Jimmy Odukoya is a pastor, the fact that he wears dress qualifies him to be arrested, stopped, and his laptop searched.
You see, really, I'm not of that school of thought. I mean, it's not good. It's not good enough. That's not good enough for you to totally profile somebody as somebody who is bad. We have a lot of young guys who come into the country, and I can tell you for free, I tell my nephew at times, I say, please, come roll and all those things. When you're going out, make sure there's somebody driving the car with you. So we actually give them that kind of, memo. Please, this is what happens on the road. But on the flip side, they need to be trained and retrained. You can't continue profiling people to say that their looks determine that they are bad people. They're not bad people. Almost everybody is in dreads now. A pastor is in dreads. You see this one in Cornwall and all of that. So that cannot. But I can also tell you a good experience that I had on the road some years back, and it was a SARS, squad that saved me from that scenario. Would have been really nasty. I took an Uber and was coming down from Todd Mainland, and he had a tire burst. And the next thing, and the driver was just clueless, and he was just taking his time, putting the C caution before we could say anything. These good guys, Lagos good guys, were all over us, surrounded us, and they were already obtaining from him. They took the spare tire he was going to use. They jumped over to the other side of the road, and they wanted to just collect money from us. Broad daylight, 4 p.m. And the next thing, I didn't know where the gunshot came from. They had seen us, and they reversed, and they shot in the hair, and those guys just disappeared. This was SARS. I mean, I wanted his name. Said, no, madam. They waited. They did everything, make sure we moved from that spot, and we were safe and secured. How about that? But every Nigerian in their head will think that, oh, all SARS, they are bad people.
Oh no, we know
but
that not
this
all
is a
SARS are
feel-good
bad.
story that is not often told.
Exactly.
And I wanted to tell the story.
It doesn't happen often.
It doesn't. And I wanted to tell the guy's story. He said,
might
no,
be
ma, we're
happening.
doing our job. And those guys just disappeared, and we were safe.
Will it help if road safety officials also start wearing dreads?
I don't know about that.
Mr. Denusi, if it happened often, we would get to hear about it because it is not a usual story to tell.
Is it good things rarely get publicized?
In this case, it will get publicized.
The
Because it
negative
is unusual.
is it the negative does. Look, that you have one small bali like that they call passport, and it is green. Anywhere in the world, there's a spotlight on you because you have a green passport. In the same way, all Nigerians are not crooks, but just an insignificant number did some things that they shouldn't do, and all of us were paintbrush, airbrushed, water brushed,
everything.
brushed with the fact that all of us are crooks. I went to Bangladesh. As soon as they saw my passport, the guy just stood up, he was just talking. Nigeria. And so they just pulled me aside, and I was just laughing.
Wow.
And they took me to the office, and the head of the team said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I live in Singapore." So he looked at me. He knows where I am coming from, that what he thinks I could be doing, is
Death
outright
sentence in
death
Singapore.
sentence. In Singapore, the signs are on our buses. They say, you take drug and you are caught, you are gone. There's no negotiation.
Yeah.
So I said, I got your visa from Singapore. I live in Singapore. So he said, are you sure? So I gave him my passport. He just flipped and looked at it, gave me my passport. I said I should go. So if I was coming from Nigeria, I would have been treated differently. But because I got their passport from Singapore, I was treated differently. In the same way, if you look at the FRSC in question that we have been talking about, FRSC is the most civil uniform corps in this country. They are the one you won't see their uniform is being used to drive down or ride Okada. They are the one that you will see, you won't find to use their uniform to drive Uber. You won't find their uniform worn at bus stops, extorting from people. So look, we understand the environment and the world that we now live in today. So common sense must be placed on the table to ensure that things work well.
Mr. Denusi, are you indirectly telling us that the FRSC is made up of very disciplined Nigerians?
Not all of them.
Not all of them. They are the most civil. There's most
civil.
There is civil, but they are the most civil.
Okay.
I mean, some of them have been provoked to some point. I saw. Okay, let me give you an example. On after the gas station in Maryland, Onibungo bus stop, this FRSC team were there, and some guys just came and stopped and said, "You guys should leave the town." They said you should leave the town, and they were pushing them.
Wow.
Pushing them to their vehicle. So I saw, and I stopped, and I came down, I walked to them, I said, "What's going on here? Young man, what is the issue?" He said, they said they are not supposed to be in the city. I said, "Who said? Do people die on this road?" Have you ever seen or heard of any accident happen on this Mobolaji Bakantoni Road, this that goes to Ikeja? He said, yes. I said, okay. So when the accident happens there, are you the one that rescues them? I said, look, you guys are not thinking, or you're not reasoning well. But look at that dimension of assault. They were pushing them. It's not that I read this in the paper, I saw it. So, look, I don't think we need to keep exposing the men to this level of abuse. But much more is the terrain which they walk. Their rescue operation happens day and night. Their rescue operations happen not only in the city, some by the roadside, some in the bush. And they need to be preserved and protected.
Even those, as you said, sometimes they have to encounter very handsome snakes.
Yeah.
The
Handsome.
what?
It was nice. The color it has very nice
Mr.
color.
Please.
Mr. Edwards. So here we are, and we're talking about this now. And a number of people may be sold, already on the idea of the FRSC bearing arms. But there are those who are still as apprehensive as they come. So long as you wear a uniform, and so long as you work with or for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or even any state, even ordinary neighborhood watch, people are apprehensive.
On the edge.
Back in the day, people are happy to see a policeman in the 70s.
Yeah.
Someone is there to protect. They call them Olokpa in Yoruba parlance because they don't carry guns. They only carry batons. That's it. Today, the mere sight of a policeman, whether he's wearing any armor or he's not wearing any, he could be hiding the arm in his skin for all the care. Now, what are the things we should be telling people about a road safety unit bearing arms on the road? People are generally apprehensive when they see even FRSC on the road today.
Yeah.
Without arms.
Without arms. So what are the things to sell to people to help them to get to understand and embrace the idea?
It. Good question. Change, people resist change all the time. And I know this is going to be a tough call, and we should be ready. When things like this happen, Nigerians already, we have our mindset, which is fixated. And we don't like to, anything that has to do with, everybody's on the edge, like you said. And we're all very apprehensive, we're on the edge, we are defensive all of the time. So I would think the proper thing to do first is to sensitize. There should be a lot of sensitization. Advocacy also is in a good place as well. Educating as well, because people need to be educated to know the reason why they're doing what they're doing. Because they just didn't wake up one day. I didn't think I would be on this divide talking about them carrying arms. If I wasn't probably in this ecosystem, I probably would have said the same thing as well, that I don't think it's good for them to have it. Because Nigerians already, as it were, we're all we can't, any slightest situation triggers off so many things on us. And like I was discussing with Mr. Patrick the other day, I said, you see, mental health checks also have to be proper must be checked. Whoever those people who are going to carry their arms must be well trained, be trained and retrained. The mental checks must be also, mental health, is a big deal these days. And please, they are not exception as well. They need to check what is going on within them. Every Nigerian needs to be in a safe space and a safe place. So we can't emphasize the need for education, sensitization, advocacy, and also training as well, so that Nigerians are prepared, so that when they see them, they're not in the defensive mode all of the time to say, oh, now we're seeing armed FRSC on the road. Bad enough that the uniform already put them in a very bad light. When they see them, they're asking for unusual things. Typical Nigerians won't even want to answer you. The next thing, a policeman stops you on the road and is asking you for your driver's license. Why are you asking me for a driver's license? Why? Can Nigerians please be calming down? can we just please breathe? Can we calm down? If you go to other Western countries as well, you don't question them when they ask you.
The only thing is,
they don't question you.
It's not really easy when someone, the first question the person is asking you is anything for the boys. Mr. Patrick.
The anything for the boys guys are there. They will forever be there. I mean, okay. What can we do about them?
As a sequel to that question, so what happens in the event that, okay, they now bear arms, going on the streets? Generally, you are forcefully stopped in most cases. When you don't want to stop, you just kind of move on. Now, with arms, it's not going to be packet. Now, what happens in that regard? Do you think, would you recommend a kind of a monitoring system that will ensure that the road safety officials, that the segment that bears arms is not doesn't carry unnecessary high hand over the people?
Yes, a few years ago, you can do anything in any corner and go away with it and nothing happened, and very few people know anything ever happened. But these days where people have dash cameras, there are body cameras, there are glasses that people just wear and they are walking on the street, you think he's just walking, there are cameras in it. So we have been seeing things that were done in the public space. And I don't think FRSC will be immune to that. If there are excesses, we will see it. Many years ago, when NSCDC requested to bear arms, there was also resistance. Oh, they are going to be intimidating Nigerians. They are going to be pushing Nigerians. But today, they bear arms, and it may have happened, but I have not really heard of NSCDC officials intimidating Nigerians on the highway.
But you know, as you said, they work in the bushes. They work on pipelines and all. These ones, they will be in the full glare. As
it relates to FRSC, a lot of Nigerians are yet to have a full grasp of what FRSC really stands for. An FRSC person stops you and you say, can I have your fire extinguisher? I want to see your fire extinguisher or your triangular warning sign, your extra tire and the likes and so on. You're like, okay, it's my car. So how is that your business? It is his business on the account that you're not having it endangers others. Today, globally, it is that 3,500 people are killed across world roads. Nigeria is not excluded. People are being killed in Nigeria daily also. By the statistics of FRSC statistics, at the very least, about 14 people are killed daily on Nigerian roads. WHO's estimate is that about 100 are killed daily on Nigerian roads. So recently, some of these insurgents, they began to fire into a vehicle that was coming in their direction, and the vehicle ended up crashing. They took all the people on board that were not injured and left the injured. And while, as they were going, they were shooting, FRSC men were already alerted. They went there, but as they were going close, they began to hear gunshots, so they pulled back. Being unarmed. So they stayed until they no longer hear those gunshots. Then they went to rescue. Some were dead. So if we had the squad that bear armed with the FRSC team, oh, this has happened, and they also go, those guys fire some shot and they also fire, they will move quickly and then help. So you never know when it will be your turn. An accident is an incident not planned for. There is nobody that wakes up and says, okay, I want to go and get accident. It's an incident that is unplanned for, and it does happen. So if it happens, the team that is coming to rescue you, what if an armed team stops them from getting to you and the unexpected happens? Is that when you will now come and start complaining? You'll be gone. So I do believe strongly that when we know the path that FRSC is actually not there to intimidate you. They looked at your vehicle and say, your tire has expired. The tire has expired is the truth. That tire can explode as you are going. And an explode tire on motion, you are not only endangered.
Right.
Other motorists, you could swerve into the path of an oncoming vehicle and you kill them. And you that actually caused the incident may not even be injured. So the FRSC's basic role is to keep you and I alive.
You know, Mr. Adenusi Patrick, I don't even know which one is your surname anymore now. You know, you say that the road safety is to help people do better. But sometimes, I know people who have, just the way you apprehend just anyone along the road, who have also had to confront road safety officials and say even their own car tire is expired. That sometimes their own indicator lights do not work. So as Alera and I were saying earlier before the program started, he who must come to equity must come with clean hands, in their own case, blue car. So sometimes they themselves, we need to start from home. That's charity, right?
I have not found one, but I can say that it will be very, very rare to find an FRSC vehicle that does have a non-functioning traffic indicator light, headlamp, tail lights, and worn-out tires. It will be very, very rare. Compared to other agencies...
Adenusi, you want to go there?
I want to pass there. I don't even want to go there alone.
Police cars with no lights. No rear lights.
That's police. I didn't want to mention any specific agency. But that's why I said, unlike other agencies, you see no tail light, no headlamp, the vehicles are dented.
No, those ones.
Badly
It's the criminals.
Badly dented. So when you look at any FRSC vehicle anywhere, the physical appearance tells you the others
it's
should work.
I have seen Mr. Dennis.
You have seen the one that the taillight is not working.
I have seen the one that is not up to date.
The one that brought me this morning is in good order. And
Sorry?
that FRSC vehicle brought me this morning, and it's in perfect shape.
I
wouldn't have entered.
See, it is because well, you guys are. I'm an ambassador with the FRSC as well, so I can tell. But when we see these things, we cannot but mention them.
If you see an FRSC vehicle that the tail lights are not functioning, each of those vehicles they have control number. Maybe it's 2.1 or whatever. Please just take it. I have not seen. So I will not say you have seen. I will not contest with you that what you saw is not true. So I believe you. But that's why I said it's very rare.
You also said that sometimes they are in the bushes. You won't see the one in the bushes, will you?
I don't fly. I drive. I drive around Nigeria. I drive to Damaturu. I drive to Sokoto. I drive to Kano. I drive. So I interface and I interact with them. I will not look anywhere, anytime I'm traveling, I see any patrol team, even if it is for 10 minutes, I will stop to encourage them. I do. So I can't contest with what you saw, but it is very rare that an FRSC vehicle will not have functional lighting. Very rare. It's possible, but very rare.
Now, it's not also to say that, I know we're just spending extra time on this, just so people have an understanding. Now, you said something the other time, and I'd like to bring it to you. He said earlier that people are still struggling with the true identity of the Road Safety Commission, the Federal Road Safety Corps. The Federal Road Safety Commission, what their functions are. Of course, we know that this was back in the day, many years ago. I think it was it Abacha or Babangida days, when the idea came up that, look, there's so many road crashes, people losing lives and all those things, and it was started by, I think it was Professor Wale Soyinka, succeeded by Oluwagboye and a number of other heads of the agency over time. And it has become an institution that people have come to respect. There is absolutely no doubt about it. So what then would be the reason why it's still difficult for people to identify where they're coming from? Is it because people have had little confidence in them over time? Where would you situate that?
I think it's from a part of unknowing, because you must have knowledge is knowing something. I think we assume a lot in this part of the climb. And again, I think there's a lot of confusion out there. There was a year like that, if you remember, Mr. Patrick, when we had all the uniformed men under one roof. And we just wanted every Nigerian to know exactly who does what. Every uniformed person, agency, that day, just speaking to the core of their responsibilities, that who is FRSC, who is LASMA, who is VIS, and all of that. So really, I think if they are speaking from the point of knowledge and they know exactly what FRSC, then again, I think FRSC also should come, because they educate all of the time. They're on the radio talking about what they do and things like that. I think more education and putting out information out there is also very important from their own side, because they have a department that does that. I think they need to reorientate Nigerians as well as to what they do and their responsibilities, and what the citizens also need to do in response to what they do. If an FRSC comes and asks you some certain documents, don't question it. I mean, all you can say is, oh, fine, this is what you do. I had no idea that I'm supposed to have a fire extinguisher in my car. Not just a fire extinguisher, but a functioning one that is not expired. And you Nigerians are wondering again, why should you really be asking me if my tires are expired? After all, I'm the one driving it. An FRSC officer will be the one to educate you that your tires are amount of years that you're supposed to use it for. Before, even the gas cylinders that we use, we were saying it on the radio the other day, they have expiry dates. So who's putting out this information? So we don't need to get so confused. Can we also go on Google, please? And that's Google, AI, chatbots, they're all there. What does FRSC do? What are their duties? If FRSC is not coming out to say it, and we are trying as an NGO as well to also, encourage them to probably do more advocacy to the entire society, so that they can. I mean, nobody will just wake up one day and just want to come on the road and start harassing you for no reason. They just want to be safe. That's all.
Well, we have a comment here from Eke Awa. The problem is that they don't stop and search commercial vehicles.
I know, right?
They only collect bribe. Their focus is on private vehicles. Charles Anazodo says, why are we then debating if the FRSC should bear arms, since it has already seemingly been decided that they will? Our officers in whatever capacity are not capable of responsible behavior when armed. Maybe Nigerians should be allowed to bear arms as well for their own safety.
You want to respond to any of them?
Yeah, well, we make jokes of very serious things in this country. If they are bearing arm, all of us also should be bearing arm. Somebody is collecting bribe and so on and so forth. Well, we live in this space called Nigeria. The guest you had before us, they spoke about Nigeria and my country. I must do better for them. And how many of us are doing that? So I have not paid bribe once, and that is not to say that people are not. So I won't say that it doesn't happen. Unfortunately, they say it takes two to tango. There's the giver, there's the receiver. If you ask me, if I don't give you, so what happens?
Then you're going to lock me up or impound my car or something.
I go the route. I was driving, I was coming back from Abuja some years back. And between Ikwele and Owo, my car caught fire. I was the only one in the vehicle.
Wow.
My fire extinguisher had expired. I didn't know. But fortunately, I was able to put out the fire. Now, when you look at that, nobody taught me thereafter to have a functional fire extinguisher in my vehicle. I drove in Onike. There's this road in Onike. As soon as I went into the street, somebody said, "Oh, it's one way." I said, "But there's no sign." So I stopped just at the beginning of the street. And as I was about backing up, some armed men showed up and
appeared
said,
from nowhere.
You are driving against traffic. I said, "Well, there's no sign here." And then they now went and used their hand to turn the sign for me now to see.
Oh dear.
So I saw it and I laughed. And I said, "This is no longer a sign if it's the back that I am seeing."
Oh.
Now, knowledge, like Bola said, 99% of us don't even know what the road signs are.
Okay.
We cannot interpret it, and you are moving a vehicle from point A to point B. So I told them I didn't see it, and so I didn't violate it. And we went to their station. They took me to their station. And I said, "I want to see your DPO." The DPO is there to attend to us. So when I explained to him, he said, "Hey guys, I've been telling you people." And so they left me. But when they stop you, if your first is attack, "Why are you stopping me? Why are you stopping me?"
Yeah.
So his own adrenaline will also be pumping, just like yours is pumping.
Yeah.
You stop me. There's nothing wrong with us at both ends being civil. I've been stopped by police in the US. They pulled me up and I stopped. He said, your tail light is not on by 3 a.m. I said, "My tail light is on. This vehicle has day running light." He said, "No, it's not on." I said, "Well, you saw the back. I didn't see the back. So I believe you." The argument stopped. But an average black man that is stopped in the USA, "Why do you stop me? What are you looking for?" The same thing. We have seen some of them in movies and in YouTube. So we too we're also adopting the same strategy. But I do believe strongly that FRSC is here for you and I to be safe, and more advocacy will be done. I'm a road safety person, so okay. I run road safety campaigns. I run an NGO, so I'll keep talking.
Bola, is the vehicle inspection unit part of FRSC?
Yes, they collaborate. But FRSC they're not the one producing driver's license.
No.
A lot of people.
No, she's talking about vehicle inspection.
Okay, vehicle inspection,
yes.
Yes, is an arm of, they work together, they're in the same premises.
Vehicle inspection.
Is it part of
FRSC?
Road safety.
Road safety.
Yes.
They're part of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can speak
They're
to
part
that.
of it.
Yes.
Now, vehicle inspection is the responsibility of vehicle inspection service.
Which
the one
is
we call
separate
VIO.
from the
and
Federal Road Safety
different
Commission.
from Federal Road Safety. It is state jurisdiction.
Okay.
Just like your driver's license and your vehicle, your plate number, your vehicle license, they are state. So the vehicle inspection is state.
Okay.
Federal Road Safety Corps, by the virtue of what they do, their role, that vehicle that is inspected by a vehicle inspection service person, theirs is to ensure that it is functioning.
Okay. What about the driver's license? Who administers that?
The state. The state everywhere in the world.
But why is it that we go to the Federal Road Safety when we want to get our driver's license?
No, you don't go to the Federal Road Safety
compound.
It's just that you are in the same compound.
Same premises.
You are in the same premises. The state issues your driver's license. If you look at your driver's license, the issuing state is there.
I know it is a state.
The shop is just in the same compound.
Which agency gives that?
VIS.
Motor Vehicle Administration is actually in charge.
Motor
Vehicle Administration. They are the one in charge of issuing your driver's license. And now the arrangement now comes tripartite.
Yes.
FRSC is the one that prints the driver's license for quality and control.
They print.
The vehicle inspection service, they are the one that actually tested the driver. The motor vehicle administration is the one that
VIO.
issues the license to you.
The license to you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I do.
we need a series of
Honestly.
Instagram carousels on this one. Thank you so much, Mr.
You can come to my school. I'll train you.
So thank you very much. You have started advertising again. Patrick Adenisi is Director Safety Beyond Borders. Thank you so much for your time, as well as Bolanle Edwards, founder Strap and Safe Child Foundation.
Thank you for having
your
us.
time this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, hope you feel safer. We'll be right back for another conversation.
Stay with us.